What's good, YouTube? What's good, YouTube? PD Trades here, aka Neo Tlevere. And guess what? I've missed you guys. I've missed you guys. So listen, I'm finally back on YouTube, and I just want to say thank you to everyone who stayed and locked in, man. Everyone who kept the channel alive, everyone who kept asking for new drops. I appreciate every single one of you, man, for real. Now, you know me, right? I've been cooking behind the scenes. All my day ones know, man, I'm that nice day guy. You know, when they say PD trades, I'm that nice day guy. So now that's the chat, right? That I built this channel on. So this December, I'm feeling a little curious, right? A little experimental. You know, everything you want exists on the other side of fear, right? So I'm testing something new. I'm testing gold this month of December, right? Yep, I'm testing gold. Just want to see how comfortable I can get with it. New pair, same calm mindset, same ICT soul, same chilled flow. And here's the best part, right? I'm not doing it alone. I want you to pull up with me, sit next to me, watch how I think, watch how I break down the levels, the liquidity, the zones, life in real time, right? So join me today. Today's Saturday. Just want to make my weekly outlook and my thought process on gold. I also have a thought process on Nasdaq, but I was just thinking, you know what, this December I'll just mainly focus on gold alone. Anyway, I just had to scold some of these kids, man. They're not listening. So yeah. Let's lock in, man. So yeah, join me, and as we're about to go through the dollar, then we go to gold. So fresh eyes, new pair, same energy, same PD trades. Let's lock in. Okay. Now this is the monthly time frame. So we're basically looking at gold right now, right? This is the monthly time frame. Since we're about to enter a new month, December, so usually I like to check the monthly time frame only when I'm like it's about the end of the month and I'm about to start a new month. I'm gonna look at the week of the monthly time frame and see, okay, where am I standing on the monthly time frame? Because remember, higher time frame perspective is so important, right? So this is where we are standing as of right now. Where do we come from? We come from this high, from the extreme premium of the monthly dealing range. We had that premium CB, tested it, ran buy side liquidity. So from January this year up until to date, the dollar has been bearish, right? Swept sell side liquidity, and as of right now, we are trading in the discount of the dealing range, and just right at this discount bullish order block, right? Monthly bullish order block. Now I'm gonna zoom in a bit. We swept sell side liquidity, had a strong displacement up, which was October. We had a very strong bullish month. It was a bullish month. And November, not really bullish or bearish. It's undecisive, because remember, the only time that we're gonna consider or think that we might want to run for this inefficiency, right, or possibly the the midpoint of the dealing range, is that if we closed above this high here, the high of this down close candle here, right? Remember, this is a bearish, the bullish order block, a potential bullish order block, right? Re ke fetse fela fa ke fetsa fa ke tlo fa phone ke chile kontle ne bo fithi wa teng gara tsa mo chilanyana le bone da ka zwakala ne a ke fetsa fa ke tlo fa phone ka fa go a fisa wena re ke fetsa re tla etsa ne ke tla go fa phone sharp. Yes, sure boy. Yeah, that's my son. He's like, oh man, it's hot. Of course it's hot, man. Today is hot. Anyway, let's continue. So my main focus of right now right? If I'm gonna say, you know what, I'm gonna be looking for a bullish delivery on dollar, right? I want to see us closing above this the high of this down close candle. That's like the only time I'm gonna be confident of us running towards this inefficiency, or possibly this one as well, right? Because also remember, inside of this range here we have a low, high, we have a high, low, higher high, lower low, right? So a potential what? A potential 2022 ICT model. So that means preferably I don't want to see us trading towards this high, especially this inefficiency here. However, so that means that if this is gonna be a potential 2022 model, right? I want to see a short-term high forming. So meaning if this could actually be a breakaway gap and price starts respecting this inefficiency instead, right? Because we have a bullish a BC and a C. So this is what a balanced price range as well on its own. So now on the monthly time frame, I want to see, okay, do we trade above bodies live holes, go rest this so but 10 cold. So now the idea is, okay, do we trade above the high of this down close candle? And if you can see this month, we just ran buy side and closed back inside, right? So still tells me that, okay, the dollar is not yet ready for to start spooling for buy side, but it also created a fair value gap, right? So I'm gonna put my focus also on this fair value gap as well. Okay, remember, so if we wanna see us running towards this inefficiency, right, as our short-term bias, drawn liquidity, if I may say, is that can this inefficiency offer us that support to break past the high of this down close candle here and possibly running towards that inefficiency, right? So I'm gonna go on the weekly time frame now. On the monthly time frame, remember the low of that inefficiency, that monthly inefficiency, right? This is the low of that inefficiency. So this is also my potential buy side liquidity in case we what continue spooling for buy side. So this will be my short-term draw on liquidity, because still remember we are still in that bearish order flow, right? This could be just a potential pullback and continue selling towards the sell side, right? Now, where do I put my focus on? My focus will be on this bullish order block, right? Because it's inside that monthly inefficiency, right? So I'm just gonna pay attention to the body sharp. So I'll be looking at the wick, this bullish order block. Can it offer me that support and not allow price to trade back here? Because we've already done the damages here and we started having that delivery. Now if you watch my previous videos, right, I think my last dollar analysis my last dollar analysis, I think it was during this candle here, I said that I'm gonna only focus on this high here. If this candle closes above the high of this up down close candle here and we just wicked and close back inside, and ever since then we've been like consolidating inside of that range between this balance price range. Then in September, that's where we ran. So my two main priorities right now is this bullish order block and this inefficiency. I want to see them acting as my support areas, right? I don't want to see us trading back here as of yet. I think maybe if we could just test that 50% level or possibly run that buy side liquidity. But my focus of right now is, can this weekly inefficiency offer me that support that I want, right? To start, remember this high here is the high that I want price to actually trade above on the monthly time frame, right? So my main focus is right now is this bullish order block and this inefficiency, right? So I'm gonna pause it. I'm gonna pause it here for now, and I'm gonna continue in the afternoon because it's hot, and I just got a call from my girlfriend that she needs my presence ASAP. Okay, welcome back, traders. I had to take a break because I had to run some errands, so I couldn't finish my analysis. So I'm just continuing from where I left off. Um, okay, so like I said, right, what's holding me right now is, can this inefficiency offer me the support to continue running for buy side liquidity, potentially running for that midpoint and the low of the monthly CB. Remember, our target is that actually this high here, which is the low of the monthly CB, fair value gap. But now what's important is that you see how we struggled to close above the high of this candle, because if we did close above the high of this candle here, we would actually anticipate price to not even consider coming back here. So meaning we would have had considered these consecutive down close candles as our potential support. But because price kept on failing, it's just wicking and wicking outside there, but closing inside of what the high of this candle. So that tells me that, hey, patience. So what I'm gonna look for right now, right, is, because what ICT said is that wicks are also inefficiencies, right? So I want to see how we closed here from this wick. Even if you're not a millionaire, one day I'll be a millionaire. I remember having dreams I was a millionaire. Now remember, like I said, right, this wick here, it's also an inefficiency, which is when buy side liquidity traded back to what, into that consequent encroachment of this wick, right? So the question still remains, can it offer us that support that we want, right? Because preferably for me, I would want to see price respecting only the upper half of this inefficiency, the lower quadrant of it remain open. So let's see if the consequent encroachment of this wick, right, can offer us that support and this inefficiency, right, and possibly the 25% level as well. So I'm gonna remove this. Let's go into the daily time frame. Now remember, where we closed where, at the consequent encroachment of that weekly wick, right? So now the idea now is that, okay, we tested the inefficiency again. I don't want to see us trading beneath the consequent encroachment. I only want to see price respecting the upper quadrant of this, the weekly inefficiency, right? So we've already swept sell side liquidity. So now the question is, now when we open on Monday, how do we open? Do we still continue running for sell side, or we start having that retracement back into this inefficiency? Because also you have to remember, price did not respect this inefficiency at all. So for me, it's a highlight as well that, A, be careful, be aware, right? Yeah, now I'll focus on the 4-hour time frame, right? I'm better to learn your point around your point, take me back to the 10 of my life. So we had a low, high, lower low. So meaning this inefficiency, the only time I'm gonna consider running for buy side liquidity, right, is only if we trade above the high of this down close candle, making a shift in market structure. So until then, if I have not traded above the high of this down close candle, I'm not considering even thinking of going up there, right? And we have this inefficiency here. So that means if I am bullish, I want to see this inefficiency being treated as an inversion fair value gap, right? So this is my potential inversion fair value. So we have this as a potential inversion fair value gap, right? That means that I'm only gonna look for buy side delivery once we close above this inefficiency and this down close candle here. So that means even next week price could still trade into this inefficiency and continue with that bearish market structure, because we haven't changed market structure yet. We are currently trading inside that weekly higher time frame inefficiency. So the question is, can it hold and offer us the support that we want and trigger price to trade above this inefficiency? And only then I'll consider this high, this inefficiency, and possibly buy side liquidity. But until then, I'm in a bearish market structure, right? Higher, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. So can you make a lower high and continue with that bearish market structure? That's the question, right? So this is where I stand. I'm not gonna look at the lower time frame. I'm only gonna look at the lower time frame on Monday. But this is like my narrative right now, because my 4 hour is actually my priority, or let me say priority time frame, or like my main time frame that I focus on. But yeah, so as of right now, I'm patiently just waiting to see how do we trade around this inefficiency, right? So patience is key. Patience is key here. Patience is key. Patience is key. Patience is key, right? So I'm just gonna wait. I'll be trading the AM session, the new week opening gap, on Sunday. Yeah, it's on Sunday. So we'll see then how do we gap higher or do we gap low, right? It's important to see how we gap open, how does our new opening gap open. So on the dollar right now, we are in a bearish market, we are in a bearish order flow, and we are currently trading inside the weekly inefficiency, right? Still in the upper quadrant. Like I said, if I am really considering to be bullish, I would prefer to see price only playing on the upper quadrant of the inefficiency rather than lower quadrant, right? So what does that tell me? That this bullish order block here is my focus. Mainly the 75% level is my main focus, right? So I think from dollar, I'm just gonna leave it here. Then as we open on Monday, then I'll go on to the lower time frames, and as we start preparing ourselves, right? Now my second focus will be gold, right? Now let's have a look at gold. Now gold on the other hand has been bullish like crazy. Has been crazy, man. Has been bullish. Sheesh. Has been bullish on higher time frame, right? Now the quadrant here, the upper quadrant, consequent encroachment, and lower quadrant is actually the dealing range of October. It's the dealing range of October. So I think this November we closed bullish, right? So let's see December how we close. We close right at the upper quadrant. Or let me just zoom in. Just check the weekly time frame now. It's fine. So on the weekly time frame, this is how we stand, right? So we've been the whole of November, we've been actually trading inside what? Inside October's range, if I may say, right? We've been bullish this November on gold, and my main focus of right now is the midpoint of the dealing range, because the midpoint, inside the midpoint, there's what? There's this volume imbalance, which I'm gonna put my focus on, and this bullish order block as well, right? So if we decide next week decide to retrace before we can run those relative equal highs, I would like to see us first making a judo swing, maybe trading towards the sell side, possibly on this bullish order block and this volume imbalance, but mainly the main threshold of the weekly dealing range, right? Okay, so let's check the daily and see where we at on the daily time frame. Now on the daily time frame, I think, yeah, the 1st of November, which is here, this is the first week of November, tested the 25%, tested the deep discount, the extreme discount of the range, and when you look on the left side, there is this inefficiency. So we traded inside this inefficiency, which is in the deep discount, displayed above, so meaning this is gonna be my bullish order block. Ran for buy side, traded the 75% of the October range, and also that inefficiency as well, right? The premium inefficiency, traded back into that discount order block, right? And we were like consolidating first between this daily inefficiency and this as well. So we were trading between two inefficiencies. So during this time here, it's no man's land. I don't want to see myself trading during this time at all. Then we broke past it right at the consequent encroachment, kind of like consolidated inside the daily inefficiency. Then on Friday, on Friday, we tested the 75% upper quadrant of that inefficiency and started spooling for buy side. So now this means is now my inversion fair value gap, right? So now I'm gonna treat this as an inversion fair value. So this is my inversion fair value gap, and like I said, right, I will only be content if we decide to actually if we decide to trade back, if we are actually targeting buy side liquidity, right, possibly this high and that high. I want to see, before we can actually start sweeping those highs, right, I want to see us testing this inversion fair value gap, possibly this bullish order block and this upper quadrant of it, then start spooling for buy side and potentially looking to run that high. But remember, what's this? This is a bearish order block. So I'm gonna highlight that as well, because price could seek support just right there. So I'm gonna look at the open 24.6.04, 24.6.04. So this is my bearish order block. So looking at gold, we have this buy side liquidity, the 75% of that October range, and this bearish order block as well, right? So price could seek support, I mean resistance there, right? A potential resistance, and start making a pullback, right? And if we trade past it, that means that okay, my focus will be the high and possibly first the rejection block of the range. So as of right now, I am bullish on what? On gold, and I'm bearish um on dollar. Until I see a certain change in delivery on gold, I'm bullish on gold and I'm bearish on dollar. Let's check the 4-hour time frame. Bernie said you could die for the disrespect, the same play. So my focus this week was this high here. I was targeting that high, right? After we broke past it, tested the the upper quadrant, took out sell side liquidity, right? After taking out sell side liquidity, we started spooling for buy side liquidity. So as of right now, I'm just waiting to see if how do we react, how we gap. Actually, our gap open on Sunday, but I'm gonna patiently be just relaxing and just wait to see how price react in those key areas. So we have buy side liquidity there, which will be my focus. And we have an inefficiency here as well. So now the question is can this inefficiency offer us that support to continue trading higher? And that 4-hour inefficiency on the dollar index, right? Can it act as resistance to push price to continue pushing price lower, right? So this is where I stand. I'm just gonna be patient and wait for the new week opening gap. And for me, I believe the new week opening gap is the one that's gonna tell me whether we continue for buy side, because we could gap higher, run buy side liquidity, then start making that retracement. It's possible, right? Or we could gap low and start pulling for buys. I don't know, but what's important is how we open on Monday and how we close on Monday. Those are the very key times and days for me. So this is where I'm gonna end it, and I'm gonna continue on. I'm gonna continue tomorrow when I trade the AM session, the ATM model. So that's it for me today. But this is just an easy peasy. There are a lot of pieces of something for you, and we're gonna start tomorrow. Cheers.